what we're here to find out today. I'm sure it'll be very wholesome. But they gathered up their resources. They, through various means of, I'll call it less violence, more manipulation, actually. Manipulation, intimidation. They gathered up a truck from a local security company that also does security for the data center that they'll be visiting. Um, and they are now making their way toward the data center. As a side note, I did forget to touch on. They also found out the head of security is a scion of King Gisar, which is of particular interest to our tiger. Did I miss anything, y'all?
I don't think so,
Don't think so.
Hmm.
Tiger
but
was
you might.
absolutely violent.
Absolutely. Yes, we did see silence in the first 10 minutes. Um, I will say yes before they in
Sandra has a dog named Vessel, a
Ye-
pony-sized dog named
yes
Vessel,
pony sized Fenrir pup named Vessel.
and
um,
Mia's got a ball python named Ophi.
yeah,
Mhm.
Those are
Vessel and
important
Ophi.
things.
Um, as well, two of our heroes discussed their plan with their parentage, their parental units. Um, Echidna regarding Mia with a little bit of mm, not frustration, but sort of the air of finally you're going to do something worth watching. Um, and then with Isfet regarding Cassandra with a little bit more secrecy, as if Isfet might be hiding something. Who could have foreseen this?
Wow, that's crazy.
But that is our recap. Scattered though it might be, and perhaps brief as it might be, this is what my brain remembers. So, perhaps to the benefit of our players, perhaps to the detriment. We'll see. This is where we join our heroes. On the road, um, you may do whatever you like, or if you have nothing of note to contribute or nothing to discuss or to do along the way, we may time skip and get you there in the blink of an eye.
I do know one important factor was that we had to open the little sliding door on the back window so that the pony-sized puppy, what was the name one more time?
Vessel.
Vessel, um, poke their head right through just to hang out with us.
Excellent, excellent.
It's important.
Um, Perfect. The group has stolen a pickup truck. Vessel is in the backs, and they've betted the truck, being the goodest boy, for now. But again, the scene is yours, ladies and gentlemen. There is, it's entirely up to you if you would like to discuss anything, contribute, or complete any tasks along the way.
I will say that so Mia's probably in the back in the back seat petting Vessel a little bit, and through her sleeve you can see the head of Ophi going out and kind of giving little uh mlem at the dog too. Um and she's gonna say, so what do we want to do with this place exactly?
That was gonna be my question.
We have a we have it we do we have an intent? Do we want to free the data? Do we want to destroy the data?
I think destruction is probably the most expedient. I don't particularly want to sift through that much data just on the off chance that something there is interesting to me.
Entirely fair. I think I agree, actually.
Works for me. I'm down for it. A little bit of mayhem.
Although now that I'm thinking about sifting through data, uh, hold on. And Koe pulls out a flashlight that looks like it's a dragon's eye and starts searching the truck just to make sure that there's no um nothing weird other than us.
We know you're a dragon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love the theming.
Excellent. Using this, if you'd like to detail is there any effect, anything special that the world should know about with this flashlight?
It is Julong's torch. It is it it's it's his eye, not his only eye, because mantles exist, and therefore there are as many dragons as must exist to fulfill the world's cosmology. Um, and it gives a +1 enhancement to finding hidden people, places, and objects. And if there's a tracking device, or worse, if there's a bug in here, we want to know that earlier rather than later.
Excellent.
It just now
Excellent.
occurred to me to check this thing.
Well, I like it. Is there any role in particular that the artifact requires, or rather the relic requires you to make?
There's not a specific role. I'm thinking that um, this is probably going to be occult, because most things filter through Koe's brain as being magic, even if they're tech.
I like it.
Because she's not good at tech. She's good at magic.
Excellent.
And maybe not being good at tech will screw her. But I would like to roll a cult here.
By all means, let's do cunning occult, as a wise individual, maybe not so wise, depending on who you might ask, once told me that science and tech is just boring magic. Um, so, by all means, cunning and occult.
Okay.
Boring magic.
That is 4 successes, 2 of which are 10s.
Excellent. Love to see it.
2 more successes off of that. Those do not explode. Uh, Fucking okay. So that's 7.
Excellent. With 7 successes,
I rolled 6 dice.
I
have more successes than I have dice.
I love when that happens. It's so very rare that it happens for me, but I'm glad for you. So, with 7 successes, you determine that there is indeed a tracker in this vehicle. It's easy to snip a few wires here and there. It's sort of connected to the mirror via wire, feeds along the plastic edge that leads across, and connects into what is near the bottom of the glove box. As well, there is a camera on the dash. That is behind the. It's a more modern truck, so it has that large screen that kind of pokes out as a GPS and such. It's sitting behind that. That looks like as if it's taping the. It's like a dash cam basically, but it is transmitting to a program or a website or whatever that the security company likely uses to ensure their quality and such.
Who knows technology well enough to know if this thing has been recording audio too?
I'm pretty okay with technology. 2 dots in technology. That's what I mean by pretty okay.
Out of curiosity, yeah, how many dots in technology do you have?
2.
Excellent. No roll even required then. You take a look. I never got a seating arrangement, but it's not entirely prevalent in the situation. If you're in the back seat, you scoot up and kind of wedge yourself and take a look. If you're in the front seat, it's very easy. You peek this over. There's not a speaker. There's nothing that would capture audio. It's just a silent camera, and luckily there's no. It's not positioned in a way that it would be recording who's in the vehicle. It's just a dash cam, likely for insurance purposes.
We're safe. It's just a dash cam. It's nothing recording.
It is
It's not like
recording video. I will. I
oh,
will.
that's
I will state that.
oh, it
Should
actually
probably get
okay.
rid of that.
Get rid of it. Okay.
Or at least put a sticker on the lens for now.
Mia is already popping out her knife. It looks very ritualistic. It's almost it's slightly curved like a serpent's fang, and she's just gonna the cable that's connecting it.
Excellent. You cut the wires, as well as I'm assuming the wire that is the vehicle tracking.
Yeah.
Excellent. You do this. Not too terribly late in the trip, um, as the time was not dictated. So by all means, this can happen fairly early on if you would like.
Probably better that way.
Excellent.
Better than having it happen right at the end.
As well, this is technically a new scene, so you guys' momentum will rise by 1. And again, my goldfish brain had forgotten what momentum level you guys were at. I want to say
6.
you guys
Let's
were
go.
at 6. Excellent. So that'll bring you guys to 7. I know math.
Nice.
I know numbers. Addition is easy.
You're doing great.
Titanerific, some might say.
Can we now coin that phrase, please?
It's gonna stick in my vernacular for forever. So,
It's gonna be the T-shirt.
oh
Yes.
no, I'll wear it every day, every Scion stream. Excellent. So, if there's anything else you guys would like to do, by all means, anything you guys would like to discuss, by all means, the time is now. If not, there will be a brief time skip and some things will happen.
The only thing Mia's gonna want to do is just catch up with her friends. So she's just gonna be asking questions about like how their lives been and stuff like that. You know, that sort of stuff. So nothing majorly important.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody else?
Did we want to find out when Kindenberg's going to be there and maybe, I don't know, do something to him?
Like,
There
kill
are
him?
Many. That is something.
That sure is something.
I would like to know who's pulling his strings, but in lieu of finding that out, homicide's a thing, I suppose.
Why not both?
Ideally.
Okay. So we have some plans. Excellent.
As a reminder, oh, please go on after you.
Wait.
I think Romeo was ready to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did Koi know whose draconic information he sold off, or just it happened?
We never determined. I would definitely allow a roll if you'd like.
Uh I guess culture?
Yeah, culture works. I could see a cult. I could see a number I could see a number of things. This is kind of a grab bag, honestly.
Yeah, for me, culture and occult are the same, but I have different specialties. So
Understood.
if it's well, it wouldn't be tied to Okinawan priestesshood because I haven't released any information on that. So that pantheon doesn't exactly exist in Scion. So I guess occult, and I'll see if Pacific Indigenous communities is relevant.
Uh, I would say yes, by all means.
Okay.
And it'll be your choice of intelligence or intellect or cunning, as didn't um, we didn't determine this in the moment, so I'll allow this as a retroactive or in the moment if you'd like. It's entirely up to you.
I'll I'll go with cunning, I think. And
as a
all
note,
right,
again, you have
that's
7
good.
momentum if you'd like to use it.
Uh, I have 3 successes on the dice, plus the 1 enhancement from the specialty. So
Excellent.
I think I'm good there. If 4 doesn't get me there, then I probably needed to do a complex action.
Fair enough. 4 does indeed get you there. The various information you gather that who was leaked and what was given off. Um, it's unfortunately for the sect of dragons, in comparison to like gods and things, the draconic sect, um, it's not necessarily about dragons themselves. It's about their scions and
Mm,
the operations that they've done in the world. Um, so it's more so releasing information on like it's as if oh man, I'm blanking on the title, but it's the one James Bond movie or 007 movie where his information gets leaked, and it's all these secret agents essentially being outed as secret agents. Um,
Is that one of the newer ones?
I don't know.
I think so.
It's
Like
somewhere in
I've
my
seen a
memory.
Bond movie.
Because I've only seen
Uh,
the Casino Royale of that guy's era.
Excellent. Yeah, it's more so the draconic scions being leaked. So outing people that have been uh, in deep cover, we'll say, as well. I would say the most with the amount of successes you got, the most prominent thing that is perhaps hasn't been leaked, perhaps hasn't been put together yet, but with your particular faction and your particular knowledge base, um, I would say that one of the most prominent figures that is in danger of being sort of outed as a dragon would be Al Guang himself, um, which is a kind of a big deal as holds many different mantles, and this could mm, it could do a lot. I don't. I feel like you're tracking what I'm putting down. But so for clarity for the viewers and for other
yeah.
players, um, well, if you would like to explain, I won't take that away from you. Please, by all means.
Sure. So Ao Guang is um the Azure Dragon, the blue dragon, the dragon of the East, or rather of the East Sea. He is the he among Chinese dragons, he's kind of the not necessarily the most important or most powerful, but if you if you made someone name 3, he'd be in that, like 100%. Uh, one of the other 2 would be Yinglong, and I don't know who I'd put as number 3. But he in Scion canon is also um a mantle of Jijin, the biggest Japanese dragon. So uh exposing him in any kind of way kind of means that every dragon in my faction is fucked. If
Yikes!
not directly, definitely indirectly, because there's going to be some fucking fallout. Uh yes. In my notes, there's the team's thinking about destroying Matthew's data center and killing him. That question mark's going away.
Excellent. Yes, indeed. So this is a revelation that you have, and
There's some fucking stakes for me now.
You may, of course, share this information with your compatriots. What did you have for me, Mia?
This is just me trying to wrap my brain around what was going on from before. My brain is going to have you seen the first Mission Impossible movie? Like the very first
Oh,
one?
no. No, I haven't.
Have any of you?
Mhm.
The knock list?
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking
yeah.
of. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Also, the most famous scene in, well, maybe one of the most famous scenes, the cafe scene.
Hmm.
If you think about it, it's Tom Cruise getting really mad that he's getting a negative performance evaluation, and he blows up a fish tank because of it.
I think I have to
That
see this
happened.
movie now.
That happened.
Yeah, same. Oh, I need to know.
I want to
Wait,
be
He
in
got a
on
negative
this.
performance evaluation, and he
you
blew up
guys
a
have
fish
not
tank.
seen that? Yeah, no, it gets like he literally sticks this piece of explosive gum to a fish tank and shatters it.
Vibes. That's going to be my next performance evaluation. But of course, you may share this information with your. I'm sorry. You brought up. I don't think there was a connection. You brought up this scene or this movie. Um, uh, Continue with the thought process, Mia.
No,
Apologies.
I was just trying to make sure I was perfectly understanding what was going on because I had not seen that James Bond film that you were thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
outing names of secret agents is what like the knock list is basically a piece of two floppy disks. One contains secret agents code names, and the other contains their real names. And putting them together outs them
Love that it's
completely.
floppy disks.
Hmm.
Perfect.
It was the 90s. You can solve any computer
Oh yeah,
related problem with a 3.5 inch floppy.
Yeah, with a good
oh yeah.
floppy disk and a recording of coins going into a payphone. Um,
Which they use payphones like three times in that movie too. By
yeah.
the way,
Oh, nostalgia. Nostalgia aside, you may share this information. I'm so sorry. You may share this information with your compatriots if you'd like. Um, yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, yeah, I think Koi would share most, if not all of that. Definitely share the bit about um, it of there being a distinct risk of everyone in her flight having to go to ground to avoid getting hunted, probably, because that's hefty and very understandable stakes.
Mia is playing with her knife, and she says, "So we're definitely killing him then."
Yeah,
I feel like we should find out where that information is and destroy it as well.
definitely.
Yes, let's do that as well.
Can we just destroy the whole data center?
I mean,
It's got to be a way to. Chain reactions are fun.
I mean, I could just flood it.
That is technically a chain reaction.
How did he get this information?
great question.
Uh, do we have any sense of that?
I'd say with the gathered successes, there's nothing really. This might be boring, but the general consensus, the most obvious answer, is that scions of these dragons were discussing deeds across like messenger apps or messenger sections of these of this technology, and it was simply monitored. So as boring as it might be, negligence is probably the best word.
Rough.
So
Complacency. Yeah,
the Camria
complacency
were
and
right.
negligence is kind of the answer I have for you there. Unfortunately, it's not as exciting as a heist or, blackmail or backdoor deals, but the most obvious answer would just be negligence and complacency, not using apps like Signal that are supposed to be encrypted on two end when discussing nefarious things.
So the Camarilla were right in Vampire the Masquerade.
What's a Camarilla?
Um,
It's a chain store that sells cameras.
Oh my god, that'd be kind of
I could use
amazing
it.
though.
I could use it. I don't need a camera. It has one on my phone. Anyways, so does killing him stop these Scions from sending messages on the servers that anybody can see?
No.
No.
I don't think so. No, I can give somebody nightmares and tell them that they're gonna stop. Only gonna stop getting it if they delete it.
That's an excellent question. You guys, I will say during this is travel time. You guys can Google things and figure out, look a little bit deeper into the cases of where he was accused of selling information, selling user information. I would say that, yeah, you guys can all make this roll. I would say that, Samadi, if you're making this roll, as we discussed last session, you are driving.
No, he's driving. He's listening to the radio. Deep Cover is playing. He's singing along 187 on a motherfucking cop.
I love I love it. Yeah, but that the option is there for you. It would just be made with a complication, because indeed you are driving.
What are we rolling?
If you want to dig into the cases and figure out kind of what methods he was accused of, and more details on the cases, if he's the only one with access, if there was like a team of individuals he trusted, or what the finer details of these accusations were, choose a skill, and I would call it cunning. I would call it cunning in this situation.
Cunning.
Your choice of skill, whatever you can justify.
Culture?
Culture works. I can dig culture.
Technology.
I like it.
Yeah, I think culture as well.
So that's 5 dice for the cunning. And then 2 dice for the tech. Okay.
As a reminder,
Story
before
path.
you guys roll, or again, there is 7 momentum at your disposal. Using momentum for rolls requires the group to agree that momentum should be spent. I know English.
I barely do. 8 and higher, right? Or successes and 10 explode.
Correct.
I'm glad story path doesn't have this stupid subtract rule.
Yeah, we've been forgetting to do that rule in Witcher. That's my bad.
It's fine. It's
5.
mathematically bad.
5 successes. Wait, what
I
are we
rolled
forgetting?
4 10s.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
I rolled 4 10s.
Okay.
Luna.
Outstanding. Take a picture for posterity next time you say you have bad rolls.
Is this
Okay.
is this your role for? Is this your roles from Witcher coming back to be like, hey, we got you now?
That your dice are like, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
You keep putting us in jail. Please don't.
Yeah, that's right.
I got 5 successes, by the way.
5. Excellent.
So
So Marty is just gonna take a selfie while driving.
Oh.
So what do you want for a roll for that one?
We'll call this. We'll call this dexterity.
Okay. And he's going to tag the post, going to Reno to watch a man die.
Excellent.
Wow, that's almost as funny as a tag that I had in my head. Just me and my homies about to go to a data center to hack it with our fists.
I love it.
How obvious are you being when you're doing this?
How obvious am I that I'm doing a selfie and texting?
Because we
like,
just had the conversation that
Okay,
Scions are outing themselves on social media.
if I manage to see while I'm doing my thing, if I manage to see that you're doing a selfie in that moment, I'm gonna be like,
Excellent.
he's gonna hold it so that it's outside the window, so whatever, so like it's gonna be his side face and then out of the driver's side window, so that the just stretch of desert is all that you can see behind him.
Excellent.
Um,
Excellent.
and since I'm driving, and you don't want me to crash, I should probably spend momentum on this roll.
Up to you, group.
Since he
Yeah.
already
You
know
did say I
what?
have a
Yeah.
complication for driving, I'm gonna go with
Don't
2 on this.
Go for it.
don't text and drive, folks.
Don't
Well,
selfie and drive.
see that was worth it because that turned a 1 into a 4.
Excellent. So what is the total successes you got there, Samadi?
After buying off the complication, 3.
Excellent.
Or if it's a 1 complication. How big was the complication?
Just a one, just a
Okay.
minus one or
Then I
one.
got 3.
Excellent. 3. You do this. You absolutely do this. A selfie is had. A selfie is done. I would say that with the one success from Koei, the that one that brings your momentum up 1. So really, your guys are at 6 momentum now in this moment. Along with the one success rolled by Koi, you can see this. You can certainly see what's happening right in front of you. And with 5 and how many was your total successes there, Cassandra?
2.
2. Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, because you rolled 4 10s.
Yes. Oh,
That's 4
duh.
successes.
6.
Okay, excellent. Perfect. I was like, the math wasn't mathing.
The math,
like-
no.
6 and 5. You guys are deep in research. You guys are looking into this. Firstly, let's handle the selfie. Koi, is there anything you say, anything you do while Sarmati is nymphstagramming while driving?
We were just talking about how that's how he's getting this information. Unencrypted communications. I don't really understand what encrypted communications are, but we need to get them.
But it's the Johnny Cash thing. The from the song.
I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be cool and online.
How are my Instagrammers people's gonna know where I'm at? We have to call on them when we're there.
Did
Fuck,
you?
That's actually a good reason.
That is, yeah.
Did you
That is a
post
very
this
good
already,
reason.
Sarmati?
And I mean,
Also-
I go places. I go places and like I get into clubs because I'm a tiger, and they think it's cool. So like, this is how we influencing or whatever that bullshit is they tell me about.
An
Excellent.
influencer tiger. I love it.
Do you post this, Sarmati?
Yeah,
Excellent.
let's go to this Instagram.
Excellent. So we'll get to that very, very shortly. Cassandra and Mia, you look deeper into this. Essentially, what you gather here is that it is strangely these trials primarily focusing on him. It's all use of his technology, his companies, his social media platforms. But everyone around him, every team around him, everyone who's higher up has been adamant that they had no knowledge that this was going down. Of course, there's always a possibility that they're lying, but everything that is gathered. For example, there's one case that a team member is accused of aiding in this and assisting in this, and the team member basically says that he was not aware that the path that the file was going to even existed. So this all seems to be surpassing or going over the heads of the employees, no matter how high up they are, and going to a private server, a private storage, like online or an online uh, place for storing this information and data. And again, it's seems to be a number of most of it's the most interesting stuff seems to be going to this private path through the interwebs, through the wow, I'm blanking on all of the terminology. It's fine. Yeah, essentially it's surpassing everyone else and just going straight to his own computer or his own server. Oh, did we lose?
I
you,
guess we have to
Cassandra?
find out.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
and sorry, I was about to sneeze and then it decided not to happen.
No worries. We'll see if Cassandra comes back. If not, we'll cut to an early intermission. But yeah, it seems to be that the information is just being passed to him directly or on a hidden path.
Interesting. Is that what I'm finding as well, or just what Cassandra is finding?
That would be both of you.
Both
and
of
we
us. Okay.
did lose Cassandra, so we're going to take this opportunity, rather than me fussing around with cameras live, to go ahead and take an early intermission. We're already an hour in. It's only about a half hour early, but that's okay. We will be returning very, very shortly with what to do about all this. We'll see you very, very soon. We fixed it. Take that, tech mogul.
Yeah.
Now if it goes out again, it's a conspiracy. Welcome back to the Titans Rising actual play. We had to take a brief intermission for some tech stuff. We last left our heroes. They were traveling and they were discovering information. Cassandra, did you hear anything that I said after you made your roll?
Yes, I heard things that you said. I think it crashed at like the information goes to like its own private thing,
Excellent.
server or something.
That is the extent of what you needed. Yeah, the information can be shared with your bandmates. You and Mia both have this information.
I would say they were probably just like Googling right next to each other or something like that with like Vessel's head right between us.
Just
Uh,
panting. Yeah, I
yeah,
dig it.
drool. Does Vessel drool, Luna?
No,
No?
it's very
Wow.
refined.
Oh, okay.
Press F to doubt.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Now I'm imagining Vessel with like a monocle and
Yes.
like a little teacup, and like one of his pinky toe like just comes up.
The collar has a tie attached to it.
Oh my God,
Oh my
absolutely.
God.
A bow tie.
Jesus Christ. Interesting. I wonder if nobody in his corporation that says they don't know anything actually don't know anything. It looks like they're just going right to him and then off to some magical place.
That's a great point, actually. Could I I don't know how I could do this by researching, but maybe. I'm real good at detecting lies. Could I?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Using what ability?
Uh, uh, stand by. I think I have a knack for this.
Pull up some
Maybe.
YouTube videos.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah, I have a knack for this.
Please do too.
So it takes one to know one. Oh no, when you're when you are the target of a scam or a lie, I don't know if I'm the target, but you recognize that deception is taking place. You don't know what the truth is, but you instinctively understand that you are in the company of liars and cheaters.
Excellent.
That's yeah.
So this is okay. So we've talked offline about this as well. Short answer: no. The knack would not work in this scenario. However,
Cool.
Scion's a wonderful, wonderful game, and especially at the tier you guys are at, with Hero tier being at 4 Legend, essentially you figure out what you want to do, and there's a plethora of tools on how to do this. So I'm gonna ask you one. What are your legendary titles?
Ah. Isfet's cunning instrument, subversive transgressor, adversary of justice, and rival of Ma'at.
Adversary of justice, and I'm tempted to say rival of Ma'at might help with this. If you would like to invoke a legendary title and make a roll at a feat of scale, um, make sure I have this correct, because I'm not just talking out of my ass.
How important this information is. I mean, I was just wondering.
It's entirely up to you. Well, information is the lifeblood of all power. So, it's as important as you'd like to determine as to will it. So you don't have to do any of this. All I'm saying is that you can. You can of course invoke a legendary title to make a roll at a feat of scale. This will do your legend increasing scale by legend divided by 2. Round it up, so you guys are at 4, would be 2 scale, which will give you a significant number of successes for this roll. Is that something you'd like to do?
How badly do we want to know if his team's lying?
I would also tell you, check in on some of your innate powers from the
Yeah.
callings. There might be something. I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure what callings you have right off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot in Scion. So You have
Yeah,
a lot of
that
tools
was
at
a
your
lot
disposal.
of words.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What are your?
So
Go on, please,
What's up?
Cub.
I do have a thing here. So can I spend momentum to retroactively say that when we were doing the original assault on the where we got this car, um, that I had used Soul's Ransom, and when Sarmati was going on his little terrorizing spree.
What does Soul's Ransom do?
Soul's Ransom, a person you have drawn blood from this scene. Um, you may seize the souls within the blood you have spilled, trapping them and gaining power of your foes. Souls are placed in, I'm going to mispronounce this, Angon Talisman, which is you are assumed to have on your person already. Target gains the soulbound condition, blah, blah, blah. The short version is I have a piece of their soul on me.
Absolutely, I like it.
That's
Okay.
terrifying.
That
So
is terrifying.
everybody's cool with me spending the momentum for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm going to use my legendary title of Ghost Keeper to make the fractions of souls tell us what they know.
Excellent. What title are you using?
Ghost Keeper.
Oh, Ghostkeeper. Apologies. Um, excellent. So using your legendary title of Ghostkeeper, um, how would you like to do this? Yeah. What skill would you like to use? Are you intimidating? Are you persuading?
We're intimidating.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
I have part of their soul in a little pouch.
In a little pouch. Excellent. So we'll call it and choose a skill by all means. Anything you would like.
So um, I'm gonna say this is a survival situation.
I would. I mean, for you specifically, absolutely, I would call it that.
Okay. So just straight survival or
Survival manipulation.
and manipulation.
Cassandra, you may also again make your roll with a invoke by invoking your legendary title if you would like, to determine the lies of these individuals, if they are being truthful or if they're being lies. Depends on what title you'd like to use.
When a Scion invokes their title, they have to say it aloud, right?
Uh it's not like a Dragon Ball Z like calling out the title. But I do need to know about it.
That's fair. That's super fair. You know what? Sure. Why not? Let's do cool things.
Okay, so you would like to invoke which title?
What was my title? Rival of Mod.
Excellent. So, for those of you at home wondering what the heck all of this means, invoking a legendary title allows our scions to make a roll at a feat of scale. Scale is simply a measurement of, well, scale of how big things can get, of how large either actions and creatures and attacks and things like that can be made. Um, Currently, they are sitting at just a standard 0 scale, not doing much. They're just hanging out. They're not enforcing their will on the world, but invoking your title absolutely does. And with the legend that they are at 4, it would be their legend divided by 2, rounded up. So they will be making this at level 2 scale, which will bring them up, which will grant them a number of additional successes, as it was. Um, so go ahead and firstly, Cassandra, what do you want to use? What skill do you want to use to determine if these are indeed lies?
Integrity.
Integrity, and As weird, I keep calling for this in particular during this trip, but we're gonna call it cunning once more. Cunning
Correct.
and integrity. Um,
Excellent.
and then for Sarmati, what was the result of your roll?
2 successes.
2 successes. So we got 2 successes plus the scale, which brings us to. So at scale 2, there are 2 different types of scale. Narrative would be the 2 times 5. Dramatic would be 2 plus 4. Either way, it's a significant number of successes, and it's a pass, as it was in simple terms. So, gathering what information this soul has, what would you like to ask? What would you like to? You're intimidating it. What would you like to garner?
Tell us what you know about these messages.
It whimpers in response. It sort of reels away from you as far back as it can really get, while being trapped in your grasp. It says, I truly don't know anything. I promise."
What do you know about this? What was it called? And he's looking back and trying to figure out what the thing that they were using to communicate was to the rest of the group. People who are finding out things so that he can ask about the thing.
Like the messenger app they're using.
Yes,
I don't think.
that.
Yeah, that. I don't think we got like a name for that. It was just messenger app.
Generic messenger app here. Um, uh,
Fuck you, generic company.
yeah, fuck you, generic company. Um, Christ. Um, the soul responds and says, "It was just a way of communicating. It's just it's the same thing that that social media use. It's just an internal version. It's just it's for like record keeping, but not record. It's a really inefficient system. I don't know what more you want to know."
Somebody's like, what do you want me to ask this thing?
I mean, now can I tell if it's lying?
By all means. So let's. You can absolutely use the knack. Firstly, let's take care of your. You made a roll. Let's take care of that first. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
What do you get?
3.
3. At again at scale 2, it would with narrative it would be times 5, or with dramatic it would be 7, because it would be plus 4. But either way, a significant number of successes. You can tell that the people in these interviews, you can tell that these people in on the trial were not lying. They were being truthful. They were. There's a supernatural sense that truth was said here. Um, there was no injustice that they were trying to pass off. Um, the knack you're trying to use with the soul, I don't believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't detail if it's like only you can communicate, only you can hear it. Correct?
Yeah, no, I just have it, and the title is what means I can kind of I have power over it. I mean,
Cool.
yeah, I'm sure I'm if it is not instinctively speaking loudly for the entire uh, card here, I am forcing it to be loud to and to respond.
Absolutely.
You can all
Um,
hear it.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
for you, Cassandra, you may use your knack if you'd like. If you'd like to detail what it does.
Yeah. Basically, when you're the target of a scam or lie, you recognize that deception is taking place. And I don't know what the truth is, but I know if they're lying or not.
Cool. No expenditure, nothing that needs to be spent. You would know right now in this moment that the soul is telling the truth. It's a method of communication for the people that work at the data center. As well, he really does believe it's an efficient means of communication. And yeah, I will let you. I'll ping you whenever there is a lie said, or if there is a lie, or anything that, because we'll say the target is the entirety of the band. But your interrogation may continue, Sarmati, please.
Well, he's not lying so far.
What does this have to do with the animals you were keeping?
Animals? What animals? I don't know anything about any animals. Are we talking about which site are you talking about?
I mean, this guy was a security guard at the at a site that there was animals, and that's how we broke in. So
You could always ask him how long he was on the job.
you can ask him.
Oh, how long were you
Alright.
working for them?
I came up in my year this past October.
Um, not
I-
even a veteran.
I don't know what this is for. Am I dead?
No,
Do you
not
want to
yet.
be?
But if when you do die, if I haven't released you, then your soul being split is going to make your afterlife less pleasant.
Very very cool, man. Look, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Are you gonna let me go after this?
If you cooperate,
Cool, cool. What exactly do you want from me? What exactly do you need to know? No job is worth this.
Off.
I'm glad that he's come to that realization.
Mm-hmm.
We
What's
just want
the-
information on your boss.
what's the best steakhouse in Reno?
Ooh.
It's a Brazilian steakhouse. They bring you like different points of meat. They have like a little. It's like a little triangle thing. It flips in three different sides. Red means you're done. Green means you keep bringing stuff out, and then yellow means like you're taking a break.
Oh,
Is that
interesting.
real?
Take a break.
I want to go there.
Oh wait, we should ask about the mix. Um, who's the Scion your boss hangs out with? What's his name?
Scion that my boss hangs out with. Uh, oh, we just call him Jack. That's what he's known through the company. His name is Jack. Oh God, what is his last name? Please.
If you want to live, you'll remember his last name.
Yep, I'm working on it. I want it. Jack. O'Neary. It starts with an O. Jack.
O'Neill?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't O'Neill. It was
O'Reilly?
No. He's not. He's not Irish. Oh something. Jack. Oh something.
O'Sullivan?
No. Why are you pushing this, man?
Actually, this is really good to know. I want to look this person up.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to get to the point is we can get a name.
Yeah. As you're doing this, no role required. As again, it's just you guys have already looked into like the employee directory. Jack Orson is this individual's name.
Oh.
Orson.
I would say the layout that we've established here, even Sarmati, even now, just hearing the name, there's something primal that happens within you. You feel in your soul a connection or a a story play out in your heart. It feels like a rivalry. It's like it's primal. It's deep in your soul that this is an enemy.
Ooh.
Where's he at?
He should be on site, man. He works like 12 hours.
Which
12
team
hours
is
a
he
lot.
on?
Say it one more time.
Which team is he on?
Uh,
Or rather, which team is he in charge of?
he's kind of in charge of it all. He's head of security. He's what they call oh god it's there's an acronym for it. It's GSOM, G something. But it's he's it's global security stuff. He's supervising everything. He's the head of security. He's watching both teams and making sure that they do everything right.
He's the fart nugget that sits in the box and tells other people what to do instead of doing it himself like a real hero.
I mean, he's kind of nice. He shows a lot of he comes up and he you know what? Yeah, you know, you're right. He's an asshole.
Okay, so
Cassandra, does he believe that?
Do what?
Does he believe
Cassandra,
he's an asshole?
he does not believe he's an asshole. He just is trying
No.
to he's trying to not be damned for all eternity or split into a weird afterlife.
No, he thinks he's really nice.
No, I don't. No, he's an asshole. He's a real dick. He's the more he speaks, Cassandra, the more
if you want to
wires
live,
just keep
speak the
going off.
truth.
Does he know you?
There's a
Does he care
hesitation.
about you?
There's a hesitation here that makes things rather obvious. Doesn't even need a really response. I think that this hesitation before he speaks says that the next thing out of his mouth will likely be a lie. And he says, "No, no, we've never met, Cassandra." That's just ringing all the bells.
Interesting. Oh, that's a lie.
What is your
Story
name?
Say that one more time.
What is your name?
Dude, does it even matter? Can I please be done?
You can be done when I say you're done.
Cool. My name is Simon. This was supposed to be like a temp gig. I'm in school and this wasn't like this was just I needed some money, man.
Mia, do you have questions?
Oh.
Smarty is done.
Yeah, sorry, I've been trying to ask a question. So when I did my surveillance before, you, if I remember correctly, you said I saw what appears to be a head of security working
Mm-hmm.
when I was looking at that. What I would like to do is then detail what that person looked like to the spirit and be like, hey, so this is some guy that I saw, and he starts detailing like all of his physical features, stuff like that. Is that this guy?
You detail, yes, and we'll take this moment to describe what you saw. You saw an individual, taller, more, built like what you would imagine a security guard should be built like. The standard, typical muscular individual, wearing a medium shirt. As well, heavily tattooed with a number of different tattoos from various different what looks like different art styles. Long hair that has been done up and put up in sort of a man bun. As well, wears thin, like the sort of thin rectangular glasses, with a very cheery smile.
The cheery smile is so off-putting to me, and I don't know why.
Seems too nice.
But yes, you describe this, and he says, "Yeah, no, that's Jack. Yep."
Oh, interesting. So I actually know what he looks like. Perfect. That's all the questions I can think about.
Cool. Can I go now?
Can I eat him? Can I
Oh
eat
my
that?
god, please.
What happens if I
No.
eat that?
He has his work is not quite yet done.
Oh, okay.
There's a soft sobbing that comes from the soul.
Don't worry, I'm not going to eat you. Not yet.
Somebody's gonna put the. We'll say it's a claw on a chain that he keeps in his pocket. That's where he
Excellent.
stores the souls.
As well, Samadi, in this moment, you are still driving, but your phone pings quite a bit. It has the vibration and the notifications from Instagram, or a number of your followers are like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be there too? Did you get invited?" The general consensus, the general gist of these notifications is, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see you. It'd be so good to meet you in person." And it's a lot of Instagram like influencers and like uh, content creators and things.
Whoever's sitting shotgun, somebody's just gonna pass the phone off and be like, "You do the thing, um, for me, would you?" Okay, we've got we find some leads to
Fuck.
find one of these people who can get us into the thing.
I can do that. I wouldn't mind if
Schmooze.
necessary.
So it sounds like the answer to when Kindenberg's going to be on site is soon.
Right.
I mean, he's one of those rich assholes who likes to make a show of being places and get spectacle. So he's probably going to have like an event with the influencers at. Just one of these probably are going.
Right.
It's Reno. There can't be a lot there. Maybe somebody drove down from Tahoe.
So the intent is to schmooze. Who's heading that up?
Not Mia.
I could do it.
Excellent. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cassandra. You have an Instagrammers as one of your path contacts as your path connections as well. Correct.
Yes, I do.
Excellent. So you recognize a few of these names. It's a plethora of, again, influencers and content creators, people that have been invited to what looks like show face and it's kind of PR on Matthew Kindenberg's side, and then of course it's content creation for the influencer side.
Oh, yeah, this looks like any other big influencer event. But we should find a way to get in. Unless we just want to crash the party.
Party crashing's always
The
fun.
ones messaging me saying they're going, tell them, match up with them.
Perfect. Yes, I'll do that.
Excellent. You schmooze. Given you may talk to them via Sarmati's account, or you may speak with them via yours. Entirely up to you. Either way, I don't think a roll is necessary, as you guys both have these as connections. Yeah, you find an inn, as the kids would say.
That was easy. We're in. I'd hand the phone back.
All
As the
right.
kids would say.
Yeah. So what essentially is what's going down is you'll meet up with this group of influencers, or this influencer and their friends, and go in as an entourage. Then it's just a matter of, you're in. What do you do from there?
So y'all want to kill him publicly or like after?
Probably after.
Yeah, public.
Yeah.
I'm not great in a crowd. I don't do well in like crowds. So
That's less fun.
It is, but we have to question him. I don't think we could do that in front of everybody.
also killing him in public would make him a martyr.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's still dead.
Also fair.
There's a martyr for what? More tech bros? They
The
already
people who have
worship
on his
him
side.
anyways for no reason.
If it comes,
Dog.
if it comes to this, it comes to it. Oh,
Okay, as long as I can kill Jack, it's okay.
Perfect. Yes, we will kill Jack. He seems too nice. I don't like it.
we could just turn the whole party into no.
Excellent. To be discussed along the way, perhaps. If there is any licking sounds coming from my pup, I apologize. She is demanding my attention.
What a good pop.
She's a sweet bean. She's a little tyrant. So, during your travels, thank you, Bendy. During your travels, you may discuss this along the way. Of course, you have an inn. So, recapping what has occurred so far, you have an inn. You have identified the Scion of King Gassar. And now it's just a matter of, I mean, you guys can also just wing this. You guys can show up, be a part of the entourage, and then just kind of like wing it. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna call on my park ranger contact.
Mm-hmm.
To establish good backwoods camping sites in the area. And to maybe set up a to imply on them to set something up. Is there a role required for that of some sort?
Invoking your calling,
Contacts.
or invoking your contact. I'm gonna say no. This is just calling on for a favor, and it's not too terrible of a favor at all, really. So no role required. They'll recommend a number of places. So the fun thing about this particular data center is it's off to the side of the city, as it would need to be as a large plot of land. It's off of a highway exit, and then down a few blocks. But because of that, it's also like on the edge of town, and so it's near nature and things. I would say the closest park to it, if you're trying to get close, would likely be about 7 miles away. Not too terribly far at all, really.
For my own personal area, are we talking like this is North Reno, where the brothels are, south toward going down towards Carson City, west towards Tahoe, or east towards the desert?
South toward Carson City.
All right.
Which
Can
one of
I
us?
spend a momentum to make sure that he arranges a place for us to stay at a more discreet manner than would normally be?
No momentum expenditure
'Cause
needed as well. This is again still just part of the same favor being asked. So not, and again,
right.
not too terribly strange of a favor. It's a little, maybe an eyebrow raise, but not really a whole too terrible, given that
I mean,
Scions have work
I
to do.
imagine. Well, I imagine park. There's permits and stuff involved. To have the permit not be under anyone's name and essentially not be able to be traced back to us might be a little bit beyond. Is what I'm.
No worries. Yeah,
Okay.
no expenditure, no momentum expenditure, no roll needed. It's a connection, and I can dig it. Yeah, all good. Tis done.
Can I take a second one to make Alf cause a scene somewhere else in the city during the.
Yes, this is which Oh,
Alf,
Alf.
the
Yep.
Animal
Okay.
Liberation Front.
Animal Liberation Front. Yes, absolutely. They're always ready and raring to go.
All
Um,
right.
do you have anything particular in mind?
I want them to cause a disturbance somewhere in the kind of south central area of the city, or if there isn't already, you know, breaking in and busting dogs out of a puppy mill, um, uh, um, animal testing lab. I want them to hit something hard to cause a distraction for while we're going to be at the party to have this happen at the same time.
Excellent. Sounds good to me. I like it. So, uh, I'm gonna say no roll either. No issues. They likely have been monitoring a number of different things across the country. Calling on a connection, they'll do some quick digging, do some quick googling. There's a lot of weird shit you can find on Google, a lot of fucked up shit you can find on Google with a quick Google search. So yeah, no roll required, no momentum expenditure needed. They will absolutely do this. You have a plan set forth.
They're using DuckDuckGo so they don't get Chat GPT created answers.
Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent. Perfect. And Romy, I believe you had something.
So, if shit goes down, which it seems like it's likely to, who's most concerned about getting punched in the face?
Me.
Okay.
I think
Well,
I could take it a little bit,
gonna
maybe.
give you a quick primer on how to not get punched by that guy. Um, oh, damn it, I had it up.
How to not get punched for idiots.
Oh, I see. Cool. Yeah, so I need to roll next skill. I'm really glad that ones don't subtract. Jeez. Cool. I can intercept two attacks.
Excellent. Perfect. And this is just in any at any point during the next combat, or is there a limitation on this?
Oh, that's written fuckily.
I love that word so much.
You may purchase this thought with successes from any roll made to prepare an ally for trouble. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll do that until the end of the scene. For each success, you may blah blah blah. And I'm like,
I'm completely okay with you stashing it.
Okay.
Rule of cool. We'll have this stashed for later. We'll call it as it has already been discussed. We'll call it sort of a reflexive action. So no worries at all. So a plan has been created. The bones of a plan. And with these conversations, with all of the information gathered, you arrive in Reno. The flashing lights are already very apparent, even though it is you guys left in the morning. It is mid-afternoon. The lights do not stop. As well as the hustle and bustle. It's not nearly as hot in Reno as it was in Las Vegas. It's still significantly warm, but the city is yours to enjoy. You have a campground you may go to, or you can choose to meet up with the influencers that are still pinging if you want to get lunch or anything beforehand. Entirely up to you guys. The city is at your disposal.
The entire time we're driving in, Mia's like pressed up against the window, going ooh and ah. She's never been here before.
So we're gonna go to the event, and we're gonna apprehend Kindenberg. When are we gonna hit the data center itself? before or after?
It might be. I th- I think we should hit it before, just
Wasn't it
because, huh?
wasn't hitting the data center like he established he's got private servers. I
Mhm.
thought you said
Yeah.
if he's
Maybe
Do
got
we
we
don't have
know
to.
where
private
they're? Do we know where them
servers,
they are?
Probably on
like,
his
do we have to
person.
hit do we have to hit the data center if he's got private servers because he probably doesn't have them in the data center?
My
Hmm.
thinking as well. But I don't know. What do you think?
If you can do that soul trick again, we can interrogate the hell out of him. Well, actually, we can interrogate the hell out of him no matter what.
That's true. So maybe we should get him first and then figure out where the information is.
That works for me.
Perfect.
So you'd like to hit Matthew Kindenberg first, and then the data center.
The
We'll
way
see
you
if we
said that,
still need to. We'll see if we still need to hit the data center after we
Yeah.
hit Matthew.
Excellent.
'Cause there's also the possibility that if we hit the data center first, that he would just
Knock down.
call a private helicopter and just peace out.
Yeah.
Yep.
oh yeah, that's true.
Multi-million-dollar tech moguls are prone to flee. Cowards.
Mm.
We're live. I can't say anything like that. If you guys would like to do this, you may absolutely, regardless of how private flights and things are, and modes of transportation, you guys may absolutely double check and sort of peek into Matthew Kindenberg's travel arrangements. It's amazing what you can find online.
Does Matthew Kinderberg have the follower who has a bot tracking his personal plane,
About to ask
his
that.
private jet?
About to ask that.
He sure as fuck does now.
I love that.
So yeah, you guys can check the equivalent of Twitter, and find the maybe an actual troll online, poking about and tracking the whereabouts and the flight patterns of Mr. Kindenberg. Easily done. He landed perhaps 4 hours ago, and is likely at the hotel. No update on the hotel quite yet, but you can kind of check throughout the online sphere if you would like.
I mean, absolutely.
So I would need let's call this, whoever would like to roll, and I'll allow this as everyone to roll if they would like, and varying information can culminate and create a bigger picture. Whatever you would like to do to determine where this dude is at, can be technology, can be survival, can be subterfuge, a number of different things. It will be made with. Well, let's go around the room because this might the way you guys want to do this might affect your attribute. A blanket attribute over this doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. So, who would like to roll? Mia. In what method are you looking for this? Do you know what skill you want to use and how you want to go about this?
I want to use subterfuge, honestly, but I can't think of how I would actually use subterfuge in this instance.
I can.
Oh,
So let's call this manipulation subterfuge. The way, if you would like, I don't want to tell you what your character does any more than a story guide has to. The way you would the way you would use subterfuge and manipulation in this is kind of going online and pretending to be a stan for Matthew Kindenberg, being like, no, he's perfectly fine. I bet he's gonna be at this location. Just let's say, I bet he's not even traveling, the private jet. I bet he's taking first or maybe first class, maybe even economy, and staying at like the nearest like budget inn, and let the trolls come out and be like, and the wave of people that do not support this man say, no, he's definitely at this location. He was spotted here. He's got private security. He's a piece of shit, and so on and so forth. Manipulation subterfuge, if you'd like.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do that, and I will act exactly as I see Musk stands acting on
Excellent.
Twitter.
Gross. Hate it.
And as I'm doing this, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Cassandra, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?"
Is cringe, Cassandra. um, you absolutely do this as a manipulation and subterfuge. Uh, hold on to your roll number. Who else would like to roll?
I was also going to use subterfuge.
Manipulation subterfuge, if you'd like. Doing the same thing. Sarmati.
I am going to tap into my occultist and use occult and cunning.
I like it. That's called cunning.
And we're gonna Ouija board, hoodoo, whatever various means of seance, prayer circle, whatever I can tap into in the occult community to get
Absolutely.
some.
Um, if I'm not mistaken, the Tangri have been known to work with spirits quite a bit.
Yes.
You may absolutely do that here, and
All right.
dig and use cunning and occult. Clay, if you have something for me.
Yeah, gonna try calling the if we have an idea of what hotel, gonna try calling the front desk, pretending to be part of the security detail and just fishing.
Excellent. What skill would you like to use?
It sounds like it's either be persuasion or subterfuge. Both are 2 dots for me, so
It's entirely up to you.
this fishing sounds more like subterfuge. So
Excellent. I would call that manipulation. And as I am a very lenient story guide, if you have a suggestion for another attribute, by all means.
I got a 5 in manipulation, so
So no argument there. Gotcha.
Perfect.
Anybody mind if I spend momentum?
Go for it.
It's all yours. I rolled 2 10s, 8 total successes.
8 total successes. As a reminder, this is technically a new scene, so this will bring you guys up to 7 momentum with the expenditure of Sarmati spending momentum. This will bring you guys back down to 6.
No. I was trying to spend the momentum in that same scene so we could get to half her scene, but
Yeah, this will still be still keeping you guys at 6, I believe, if my math is correct. But it will indeed work as you intend. So with 8 successes from Mia, yeah, you gather very specific flight information from the wave of people that, it's not for me to say whether it's rightful hate or not, but the wave of people that are very adamant against that Matthew Kindenberg is a good person. It's not a very popular take online, so you have a lot of people that are rushing to argue with you on the internet. Um,
Oops, the chronically onlines are dinging me.
oh my god.
you, you have just lost a point of legend for being a stan.
Your
Oh, no.
god abandons you. So
Oh, you think I did this on my main account? Hell no, this is a burner.
excellent. Gross. You do this. You have a number of detailed flight information, the path that he took. You have the vehicle that he is using while he's here. The name of his driver. It's real bad.
Oh
Cassandra.
my god.
Yes, I also had 2 10s and got 7.
7.
jeez.
Cool. Excellent. Let's a culmination of things is happening here. Sarmati, what was the result of your roll?
2.
2. Not too bad. Add a momentum to the pool. 2 is going to be difficult for the. We'll call that, unfortunately, a failure for the spirit. So I believe that brings you up to that 7 momentum. For anyone who's keeping track. And then of course, Koi.
Got 5.
Excellent. So, sitting at 7 momentum, and with the culmination of stirring the mob online, as well as calling the front desk of the hotel after it's been given by the mob online. Um, with the it's a quite a number of successes on everyone's part. Um, the the you have the hotel, you have the car and everything that he's driving while he's here. You took the flight path. You have a great deal of information. Koi, what do you say during this phone call? You were calling the front desk. I'm curious as to what you said and what the subterfuge was.
Before we arrive, I'm just trying to make sure that because Mr. Kinderberg is very particular about his rooms, I want to make sure that this room that he's being given, it has a north-facing window, correct?
No, we weren't under the impression that the window and the layout of the room would matter. Sorry, his travel agent didn't clarify any of that. Is there a preference? Would he like a north facing window?
North-facing window and the largest room or suites that you can possibly arrange would be the his preference. Thank you.
Yes, we have arranged what we call the founder's suite, um, top of the building as per request of his travel agent, so that she rivals her some papers, so that he can look upon all he's built. Is what I have here.
Yes, that sounds like the boss.
Um, as far as north facing window, yes, we can arrange. I'll do an inspection of the suite myself, and we were under the impression that is there anything other requests that for Mr. Kindenberg? Um, we don't have a detail. We know that the privacy is very important to him, so we've kept everything's very much under wraps.
Koei names a high-end champagne with a specific kind of ice, uh, probably large ice cube, like large single block ice cubes, as opposed to crushed or yeah.
Understood. You gather and give a number of requests and information. Um, yeah, you with the help of the hate mob online, as well as Koi's manipulations and lies through a telephone call, you have the exact room number and where he's staying, as well as the fact that he's not currently there. Otherwise, he would have checked in, and this would have already been an issue. Um, but it appears he's out and about, maybe grabbing lunch, and will be returning very shortly. So there will be a quick change, is what you gather, Koei, of to correct the errors before he checks in.
Didn't we
And
just meet him
and just
there?
to confirm, uh, does the suite have its independent security system, security alarm, or is that something that I'll have to set up when I'm on site?
Unfortunately, we don't have security on site. We have our night guards that check everything, and I did inform the travel agent um, that they got in contact with me. Unfortunately, the hotel relies primarily on the local police station to for quick calls and things like that. We don't. We can arrange perhaps a night stay if you'd like to arrange security or
No needs. I can handle it. I just needed to make sure what I was handling before I arrived.
understood. If there's anything else I can do to make Mr. Kinderberg's stay here more enjoyable, by all means, you uh, actually here. And she passes you a number over the phone that doesn't reach the front desk. It reaches up to a more personal and more. It's what you would do for dialing an extension. Um, yeah, you have that now.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you.
you shortly.
Um, you do this, and you may share, of course, share this information with all. You may share this information with your friends.
Well, I think we're getting our hands on him.
Really?
Have you told us already?
Yeah, it just
Mia's gonna say it sounds like we have a third option now. We could just wait for him in his room.
yeah.
Good.
Oh, I could put Ophi in his room. She could just go right in and wait in his bed.
Or I can climb the side up and come in the window. And come in through the balcony. I'd be waiting out there for when he comes out and just pop him.
That is not a bad idea either. And then we could grab him and take him to the site.
Why are we
We can
taking
also
him to
just
the
go in the
site?
front door.
Either way.
You do have a number of options. Go ahead, Romy, please.
Koi can just she was in the security supervisor uniform, and she can just she just like holds it back up. I can just put this back on.
We can do that too. We can do that, yes.
Indeed, there is one uniform amongst the four of you. It's just a matter of either convincing the hotel staff that you are ununiformed officers, or disguising yourselves to blend in. It's entirely up to you. This is a fun situation in which the pup would probably come into question. You had something for me, Koi?
Yeah.
What do we think about finding out the hotel's policy on having exotic animals in the suite?
I could
Like,
also
say, a pony-sized dog, a tiger, and a ball python.
well, Ophi can hide in my sweater. That's
Okay.
fine. I could temporarily transfigure Vessel into something. Corgi!
A cork.
Can see Vessel wagging his tail.
Do you want
I
to be a corgi? Do you want to be a corgi?
He
I could blot the sun out of the sky and climb up the side of the building.
Christ. Okay.
That
Very
works
cool.
too.
Yeah.
No one would see me.
Oh man, discretion. Yeah,
I think we have getting in very, very covered.
Yeah, there's a lot of options here. It sounds like, just a matter of coming up with a solid plan, figuring out how you guys want to do this.
I mean, I can blink into several things, just not through the closed door. I don't think. No, I have to see where I'm going.
Is the desk gonna give you a key?
I could probably easily talk them into giving me a key.
Okay.
Wait a second.
We don't all need to go in for you to get the key.
That's true.
Transfigure.
Just you get the key, you unlock the room, and then we go up to the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
They also told me that they don't have security system.
That's insane.
You could go in the window also.
We'll have that as a plan B.
I could also transform myself into a snake and slide under the door.
But Koi's got to get a key.
Okay. No, you could tell she really
Everyone
was
has
hoping
cool
on...
powers they want to use, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just gotta
We have
disguise.
Um,
But I mean, cool powers are cool powers. Like, Don't let me talk you out of doing cool shit.
Yeah, it's entirely up to you guys how you guys want to
Yeah.
handle this. There's no hold barred here.
So we'll get the key, and if we don't get the key, then I'll climb up the building and lock us in that way.
Perfect.
Or
It works
Mia
for
will
me.
sneak under the door, or we'll do both and see who gets there first. We'll have a race.
What's the prize? Can I eat the guy that we're going after?
Sure.
Cool. No, wait. I want to eat the soul. I want to see what happens.
Poor guy.
It's not a physical thing.
But it's in a
It's
physical object that can go into my mouth.
I am not gonna take. I need that. There's other souls in there. It's not just him.
You can hear
Okay.
for this sake, for this purpose, I should say. Sarmata, you hear him be like, "Please, please don't let her eat me."
I have other plans for you now. Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying, man. This is. I came. I just don't want. I don't want to. Boar isn't one of my. It's not one of my safe things.
I do want to say that you can obviously tell that Mia is just having fun, and you can. And is Luna's character's lying dinging thing still going off?
I think that I think it's just constant unless you've swapped out the knack.
Oh yeah, no, it would be dinging. She doesn't actually want to eat the soul. She's just having fun.
Mhm.
Sarmati there certainly thinks he can block out the sun and climb up the side of the building.
Got it.
Excellent.
Mm.
We are going to take another quick, brief intermission as I do need to feed my pup. She's sitting there pouting, looking at me very sad. So I gotta give her dinner. But we'll be back very, very shortly. Just after my stuff is tended to. So we'll be back very, very shortly, and we'll figure out what everyone decides to do. Again, there's no plethora. There's no shortage of abilities that y'all can use to get into this place. This dude never stood a chance. We'll see you all very, very shortly. We'll see you very soon. Hello, we have returned. We're gonna see our heroes take out a tag bundle. So, the discussion was had of what the plan was and what how you guys were getting into. There was determined that there are a number of abilities, both mundane and supernatural, you can use. It's really just a matter of how you guys want to do this. You guys want to be cohesive about this? You guys want to go take different routes and do individual things? It's entirely up to y'all.
Stay with the group. The mundane, get the key, and get in and just wait for the guy.
Is that the consensus? Excellent.
Seems least likely to go
Yeah,
sideways.
let's make it
Yeah, exactly. I think we all want that to actually capture this guy more than we want to use our powers.
Fair. Entirely fair. So, go ahead, you redon the security management uniform. Are you going in alone, or are you heading in with a partner or the entirety of the team?
Do we need find out if we need to transfigure Vessel?
I mean, unless you want to leave him outside.
I will. Okay, it says spend 1 legend.
Excellent. All spending a legend is required, so all you're really going to do is check it on your sheet and figure out. You have 4. It's going to drop your current legend rating down to 3, which is just you'll get the legend back after performing a deed for your god. There's a various other, or accepting a fate binding. Fate bindings are fun.
It's a fate. Question for later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, question for now. If you want to
I'm
know
very curious.
if you want to
Yeah.
know the severity of the action you're taking, spending a legend is one of your biggest resources, in my opinion. It's expenditure. The legend is gone for the time being. How you get that back is you perform a deed for a pantheon. You get it back through prayer, through all these other things. But the most direct way that you can take an action to get this back is you can accept a fate binding to someone of a lesser tier, which inexplicably, well, not exactly inexplicably, but supernaturally ties you to that creature, to that being, to that group, as a part of your legend, as a part of your myth, as a part of your story, essentially. So, for example, you could fate bind Matthew to get this back. And that can take the form of he could be a rival, a nemesis, a paramour. It just makes it so that particular person that you are fate binded to has a role, a specific role in your story, and will take specific actions in the future. It's a lot like assigning a role to a cast member in a play. Now that I think about it,
I like that a lot.
yeah.
That's really cool. So yeah, I'm down for it because I think Mia really wants to see Vessel as a corgi now because it's been in her mind ever since she said it. So instant 1 character, range sourceable. You transform another character or into an animal or a similar animate form as long as it does not completely prevent a character from acting, like being turned into stone or effectively kill them. Using this boon on a trivial character is free. Oh, is Vessel considered trivial in any way?
I don't believe Vessel is considered trivial, given that. Yeah, no, Vessel's not trivial.
I don't
Vessel
think so. Yeah.
uses a stat block, so
Yeah.
Okay,
negative.
that is a good question. What actually dictates trivial v non-trivial?
Trivial being things that have like no chance of harming you is the best way I can describe it.
Gotcha.
No like role in the story. Yeah, so anything that doesn't
like a
have
help desk
like
clerk.
anything that doesn't have like a supernatural rating or like a legend rating. So mortals are trivial.
Gotcha.
That's the most common trivial thing I can think of is just a dude.
Okay, Transformed characters retain their normal traits, but face complications if they attempt a task in that their form is unsuited to, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of this boon, Scions and other characters with Legend +1 instantly revert to their true form. Okay. um. So yeah, she's going to rub her hands together, get all excited and stuff, and she's gonna go and start petting Vessel and stuff, and letting her that ability of a transfigure to
Excellent.
morph
Uh,
Vessel slowly into a
you
corgi.
you scritch Vessel behind the ears. You pet, and with each stroke of the fur, it changes. Um, Gone is Cassandra. You've described Vessel. Describe Vessel's fur. You've described the size, the coloration. What's the fur like? Is it coarse? Is it like
It's
well groomed?
soft.
Very soft. Excellent. Um, it changes now. It's still soft. It just becomes shorter and lighter, and as Mia pets Vessel, there's the panting. The tongue shrinks. The tail begins to go not stubby, but a little bit shorter, and eventually, yeah, you must crouch down and take to a knee as Vessel becomes a corgi. There's a still there's still the key signs that it is Vessel. There's still murder in this corgi's eyes. Um, it's still and I think Hiromi and I had the same thought because it's retaining its features. Um, this is just a very powerful murderous corgi. Um, very cool.
That's why I wanted to make him something small and cute, because it did say retains the features, and I'm like, oh, interesting. That's so
And
cute.
and if you were going to make Vessel look the same uh deadliness, you would have turned him into a fucking chihuahua.
Missed opportunity, but not the last time we'll be able to do this.
Excellent.
Just
So Cassandra,
throw a
your
chihuahua at someone.
your Fenrir pup is now this little murderous corgi,
He's
wagging
Isn't-
his
my
little
little
nubby
isn't
hunter
he-
tail.
killer.
Isn't he adorable?
He's perfect.
He hops up into your arms, Cassandra, and there's a sort of eagerness. He's getting used to the new form. He's very compatible, or not compatible, compact and movable, very very transportable. Um, yeah, and is just kind of enjoying the difference in size, wondering what he could get up to in this. So
Now that I
He's gonna
think about it,
head into the lobby and scope the place out. Um, so what kind of are we looking at for this hotel? Is it one of the casinos where it has the big lobbies with the fancy shit? Is it a resort type place?
a casino, hotel and casino is essentially the vibe here. Um, Walking in, you would see uh, a plethora of you have the woefully outdated carpet of the splashes of like streaks of strips of color that lead into like a gaming the center gaming room. As well, off to the side, you have what looks like perhaps faux marble floors leading up to the front desk. But a hotel and casino is what you're looking at here.
All right. So
I
Ramadi is
struggle.
looking around just for any sort of um, ways to sneak through, or
Well,
is it the path of
uh,
least resistance? And
yeah, they get all types here. You may make your way to the gaming area. You may make your way to the elevator. You have been noticed as you step through, as you are greeted by the individuals at the front desk. They're not terribly far off. They don't have to shout. They can speak up and raise their voice a bit and say, "Welcome to insert generic name here." Um, yeah,
no close-ups, please, will be up throughout this as he is stalking around the casino.
Excellent. Oh, did I misunderstand? Are you in tiger form?
No, no,
Gotcha, gotcha.
just in general, that making sure that that is uh, a known thing is that um, should anybody try to describe me later, anybody who is not a trivial character has a +2 difficulty to remember or describe you after the end of the scene, or to recognize me on sight. And trivial characters can't do so at all unless I fuck with them, and in which case they remember me vividly, but are not articulate enough because they are tripping over their own tongue in fear to be able to describe me.
Excellent. I love that. Perfect. So we have one inside scoping things out. What are the other three? What are you up to?
We only have the one uniform, yeah. So,
I mean, I can technically disguise myself in the uniform too, if need be.
okay. Mia, are we just getting the key and then having you, then meeting you to take the elevator up, or?
It might be a good idea unless one of you wants me to turn into a snake and I could hang out on ya. But you'd have two snakes because I got Ophi as well.
Maybe a little sus.
Mm.
It'd be a little sus, but if this is a if this is a Reno gaming hotel and they see all types, it probably wouldn't be the first time they've seen someone walking around with a snake on them.
Fair. Fair enough.
Uh, yeah, let's try that just because it seems like it has a better chance of success.
I'm so excited. It's been so long since I did this last. She just instantly snaps her fingers and just starts transforming herself, spending one legend again, uh, to turn herself into a snake. Now there's two snakes. There's her and Ophi. I would say she is they're both ball pythons. But you can tell which one is who by the patterning. Like Ophi's got like more like circle donut kind of patterns, while for some reason she made hers look more triangular in shape.
Excellent. You do this, and there's a feeling of approval that washes over you, Mia.
I also have a
uh,
dog.
and just in case things go weird quickly, uh high fives Cassandra, and uh she feels that she might be able to extrude fangs if she wanted.
I'm in the club now.
The Fang Gang, if you will. You do this. Uh, Excellent. So, the two of you, well, the three of you, make your way,
And Vessel.
and indeed, Vessel. Two snakes. This is insane.
Who has
Um,
a snakes?
Two snakes, a corgi, and
Yep.
two security guards show up.
yeah. While a tiger stalks and scopes the area. Um, you guys do this. You approach the front desk. The
I assume that the front desk person gave me a name. I just didn't write it down in my notes because
mhm.
I
I
don't know why.
I didn't pass one off. Uh,
That's fine.
that's my
Uh,
bad. Her name would be Sasha, the contact you had spoken with earlier. You approach, and there is a shorter woman at the front desk, dressed very smartly in the hotel uniform. Um, hair done up in curls, and sort of pinned back in a bounce in the back of the head. And she raises her eyes and says, Hi, can I help you? She looks at your uniform.
Hi, Sasha. I think we talked on the phone.
Yes. Of course. Is he here already? Is he checking in? I'm not sure the method. This is my first time dealing with a higher priority guest.
We're doing a security screening first. I'm sure everything's fine, but we want to make sure because we can't we can't make one mistake. You understand?
Of course. And I did want to clarify. I don't feel like I presented the hotel well before. There are security cameras. There is security on the gaming floor. We haven't found it necessary to. It's and this is not my call to be very clear. The company hasn't found it necessary provide a sweep or of the hotel portion of the resort. Um, it's just we have on-site security. It's just not. We can reallocate resources if necessary. Um, it's just not standard rounds to check each floor, unless absolutely
That's
this is a call.
that's totally fine. We like taking care of things in a house. It's just when resources are available, we want to make sure that we're not stepping over each other's feet.
Of course, and security has been notified that there is a higher priority guest, so they're um, to just sort of monitor the area, anything suspicious activity on the gaming floor, um, and we don't. I don't think we have. I have your number if that's the security contact that you want to use
Yes.
for. Okay, perfect. I'll pass it off to our head of security, and they'll get in contact with you for those purposes.
Uh, I was like, uh, yes, my name is Janet. Fake name. No, that's
It's not spelled as you think it's spelled.
Excellent. Janet
I
Faulkner.
just say that my name's Janet.
Excellent.
uh,
Um, and are the we weren't informed.
wait, no, my name's Jack.
God damn it. Perfect. Um, excellent. Is the and we weren't informed of any. It shouldn't be an issue, but we weren't informed of any pets. Is there anything that would need to be brought up to his room to
Technically, these are part of his entourage, but I see where you're coming from.
understood?
Is that going to be a matter of um, increasing the hold on the credit card in terms of a deposit?
It shouldn't be. Given the nature, and it's we do allow small dogs even for normal guests. It's just a matter of it's if there is damages, of course there will be charged, and I don't imagine it will be a problem for him. But that was out of line for me to say. I apologize. That's not for me to speculate.
It's quite all right. We'll make sure that everyone is on our best behavior.
Excellent. Well, she passes off a set in a paper, the paper sleeve of two card keys. Um, and says if there's more keys required for a security team or anything like that, we can process a number of temporary badges for the sake of for the personal security team.
Yeah, Mr. Kindenberg will undoubtedly have his own along with his personal security team, but um, they'll they'll be along when they're along. I can try to give you a heads up on that, but knowing uh, how predictable unpredictability is important in security, the heads up might not be more than a minute or two.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And as per the travel arrangements, the guide we have everything will be taken care of on your end once oh there she
Oh,
goes once again.
oh
Um,
no.
we'll keep an eye out Um, anything anything that we understand that once he arrives, there'll be no contact with us. Everything will go through you, so he'll just be able to walk right up to his room, and there'll be no issues.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Perfect. Well, if there's anything you need from me, by all means, you have that number, and everything should be just fine.
Fantastic. We'll head up and secure the facility. Thank you. Thanks, Sasha.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Let me rearrange things right quick. Boom.
Sorry.
Excellent. Cool. You guys are free to make your way to Mr. Kinberg's room. As well, Sarmata, you are scoping the area out. Would you like to stay in the area to watch this interaction, or are you trying to like move off to the side? What's the play here?
Is there anybody paying particular attention to Koi and Cassandra?
What an interesting question. Let's have a roll. Whatever you think you would need to notice any individual who might be doing so is whatever skill you would like. And then I think cunning.
Oh, it's worth mentioning, or reminding, one of the two, that if there's any overt magic within line of sight to Koe, she spots it or makes a clash of wills to determine whether or not she spots it.
Excellent. Nothing yet, but that is very good to know for notes. Perfect. 3 successes. No one is paying attention inextricably or with special attention. You see a number of security guards that are just kind of watching the game room that make note of the new security uniform that is present here, and then just go about their day. But Koi and Cassandra have been noticed given the uniform change, as well as snakes and
dog.
and
I mean,
Corgi.
yeah.
What's wrong with snakes?
Emotional support snakes.
Once they have the key, he is going to try to find a sneak way up. He's going to try to find a since casinos like the only way that you can get up is by going into the elevator typically if you are not using a fire escape or a staff only staircase. He wants to try to find his way up to the staff only staircase.
Excellent. Fairly easily done. As well, in order to warn people to stay out of certain areas, there does need to be a sign that says staff only. And you may absolutely duck into this. Let's have you. The only issue is that there would be like a key card scan. But there were security guards you could nab one off of if you are quite dexterous, if you are quite skilled in sleight of hand. Or you can go about it in any other route if you'd like. You can just.
Is anybody cool with me using a momentum to help me steal a security guard's key card?
Go for it.
Sure.
As this is a new scene, this would be put you guys at 8 momentum, and I will say, just for clarity as well, if you spend half the momentum pool in a single scene, you gain an extra. Everyone gains an extra XP.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, will 4 successes be enough?
Absolutely. You want to just kind of nab this as you're walking past?
So it's still going to be the same dice pool, and he's more going to slip in when somebody else goes in without being noticed.
Understood. Not a problem. With force guesses, you can absolutely do this, and you find yourself given access to the staff stairwell.
And as he heads up, he is checking for, staff security isn't always the same as normal hotel security. So is there cameras that he needs to be watching out for?
Every 2 floors, there is a security camera facing looking down the stairwell. That does seem to be angled. It would be cameras you need to look out for.
Check something. Oh, nope. Yep. I am covered under not a trace. So
Excellent. Uh, Perfect. You do this, and you may reconvene as you. This is not an operation in which you don't have a cell phone. You may absolutely do this and keep in contact with Koei and get the information. Well, about where it's a long flight of stairs up, but you absolutely can make it. But the rest of you take a quicker route to the elevator, and make your way.
Question: who's actually holding the snakes?
I can hold you.
Okay. I'll just rest on your shoulders.
Excellent. The group eventually reconvenes. If there's nothing else along the way, we'll reconvene either at the door or within it. If you'd like to wait for your entire band to get there before you enter, it's entirely up to you.
It's a penthouse, yeah. So this is uh, the only room up here. Like no one else is coming here, yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Then waiting for everyone is probably safe-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak in this form?
Negative. I believe you are
Okay.
bound by the. There's an old term. You are bound by the form that which you inhabit, and I don't recall where it's from, but I like it a lot, and I think that very much applies here.
Face complications if they attempt a task their form is unsuited to.
Yes.
Which
What would complication
includes
of
applying a
speaking?
+4 complication to +4 complication to firing a machine gun if you are a dog.
Here's that
Outstanding.
vessel. No
Quick,
guns for
somebody
you.
give.
So
Oh,
small
I don't hear
powder
no
window.
guns. I just hear it's going to be very difficult.
So, uh, you all reconvene at the top floor. You may retransfigure yourself and drop the form.
Do I have to? Okay.
Stormati, who can understand you since you are a predator, says no, you don't if you don't want to.
Could hide under his sheets.
You could hide under his sheets.
Ooh. That's true. That's so fun. Ophi, we could hide under his sheets.
There's an approving
Right.
hiss from Ophi.
So here's something dumb, but also great.
I'm ready for it.
All right. So I would like to use a twist of fate to make it retroactively true that Kindenberg once released a ego-driven LP. So like he just has an album that he made as an ego trip, and it's, I don't know, trap.
Okay.
And the reason why I want this to be true is so that Koei can cue it up at maximum volume. So when he shows up, it doesn't matter if he screams.
Excellent.
Incredible.
Perfect.
And everyone else would just be like, oh, yeah, he's just listening to his own fucking music. What a dick.
Excellent.
So
Absolutely.
it doesn't go into it, but how does transforming back work? Like, would it take up an action or however, like if we're in a combat and it does, or
We'll detail it. So you're just gonna
Instant.
drop. Yeah, you're just gonna drop this. This is instantaneous.
okay, cool.
Yeah. If you would like, you can let me know when you'd like to drop it.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you know.
But yeah, absolutely. You guys have the key to this place. You can, you enter in to his penthouse. It is the stereotypical penthouse with a large window, a little private bar area, a floating bed off to the side that is blocked by like sort of glass walls. Um, Floating as in like not like supernaturally floating, but like floating away from the wall, floating furniture.
Mhm.
It's very large. There's a large TV on the mounted to the wall, as well as a what looks like a fake fireplace underneath it. This is a very luxurious suite. Koei, you immediately ping the sound system where you can play music from, and you may absolutely hook up the trap EP and begin to play "My Money Don't Jiggle Jiggle" or whatever the equivalent of Matthew Kindenberg's EP is.
Oh my god.
I
This is
wasn't planning on having it going now, just that like he shows up, shut the door, hit play. At that point, whatever he does doesn't really matter.
Excellent.
A
You may
trap
absolutely ready
version of
this.
My Money Don't.
Uh, Excellent. Uh, the space is yours. It is a new scene. You are at max momentum. Uh, the scene is yours, ladies and gentlemen. There's it. You may do what you will. Prepare what you
me.
will.
Wait, did you just give us more momentum to put us at max?
Yeah.
We're calling this a new scene. Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna drop my disguise, my in sheep's clothing.
Excellent. You return to your.
I was wondering how you were doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You return to your form. I think the only thing that sticks around that was disguised, that you're not used to, is the possibility of fangs that you can release.
Love it.
Mia, still in snake form on Cassandra's shoulders, slithers down, going around the waist, then around the leg, and then onto the floor, and then is literally scouting around, looking for whatever's around in the.
Excellent. Go ahead and whatever skill you would like to just kind of take stock and take note of anything interesting else in the room. Go ahead and take care of that. As you are slithering and using more physical and sort of poking into different areas, we're going to call this dexterity.
Okay, dexterity. That's 5 dice initially, and survival.
I like it.
Okay, yeah. So it's another 5. So that's 10 dice. Be kind to me.
As a reminder, if you spend half the momentum in a single scene, you get XP.
Do I want to spend momentum?
Who knows?
What is
I mean,
spending momentum on a roll do again? It gives you
grants you extra dice.
oh. I don't feel like I need extra dice right now. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna roll no successes on 10 dice.
It is so refreshing to have a group that's just like, no, we don't need to spend the momentum, rather than having people like just chase the momentum XP. It's insane.
1 10, that's 2 10s, that's 3 10s, that's 4 10s. So that's 5 successes innately, and then let me re-roll those plus 2, so 7 successes.
7 successes. Excellent. Is anyone else scoping the area out as well, or is anyone? What is everyone else up to during this moment?
Somebody is stalking the room, getting the layout.
Yeah. Also scoping it out a bit, but staying pretty close to the door, like not leaving line of sight of the door.
Excellent. And then Cassandra.
I'm trying to see where he is right now. I'll trying to gauge how long it'll be till he gets here.
Excellent. I'll
There's the
say,
smart move.
yeah. Given the banked, given the banked successes or the banked number of successes you guys all rolled to incite an internet mob, you can kind of a puppy. You can kind of just check the Twitter thread and keep up to date on that, and people are giving you like a play by play of like he was just spotted in this and he didn't even tip the waitress when he went to go eat. You know, he got a
Damn.
coffee and put more cream than coffee. I swear to God, it's just cocoa at that point. It gets a little ridiculous. There's critiquing of like little things, but you have a play by play of where he's at. You have maybe about an hour till he arrives. And with that, so Armani, you're scoping this place out. There is, I would like to have you make a roll, as well to kind of scope the place out and get the layout of this place. There are maybe things that might be hidden. So whatever you think you need to notice hidden things.
Yes. I would say survival, because hidden things is finding hidden things out in the jungle would be a thing that they kind of do sometimes.
Excellent. I like it.
And then are we going with standard cunning or are we going
I'll allow you choice of cunning or dexterity.
same either way. And let's spend momentum.
Excellent.
We gotta make sure that that if there's any traps, we uncover them.
Bring the pool back down to 7.
Three successes.
Three
Apparently
successes.
That's my lucky number tonight.
3 successes. So you don't find what Mia finds, but you do find one thing of note. One particular interesting thing of this is there is a sort of panic room. It is small. It is relatively bare bones. There's a television on it that hooks up to the hidden cameras that Mia you will find on your scoping out as a snake. But it does indeed appear to be a panic room. It is currently unlocked. There is a tag on the keypad that hangs kind of almost you could blink and miss it on how to set the code for any personalized guest. That is the biggest thing you find with the 3 successes. That is the key feature you find. Mia, you find a number of different cameras hidden in this area, just that can be viewed from the panic room as well as slithering around. You find there appears to be on the nightstand next to the bed. There appears to be a metal bucket full of ice that has been freshly packed, as well as where you would put drinks and things to keep them cold. There are 4 bottles of barbecue sauce, of varying different brands and such. As you make your way around this room, there are other various bottles. Yes,
in the buckets.
On ice.
Who the fuck does? Okay.
As well, you find a number of different bottles spread throughout the room. There's one on a bookcase. There's one in a drawer, rather where a Bible would be put in like sort of one of the old Southern hotels. There is a a bottle of barbecue sauce. I was trying to keep a straight face during this. It didn't work. But you find a number of bottles of barbecue sauce just spread throughout this penthouse.
I didn't know this was a reference.
Gideon's
Czar-
barbecue sauce.
Is that actually reading chat right now? Is that actually a reference to something that they did?
Yes.
We'll discuss it offline.
What the fuck? Okay. Mia went from to the cameras to
Sarmati is in the panic room right now, just watching the cameras because that's easier than stalking everything.
Excellent,
With
absolutely.
the lights off, just by himself,
Yeah.
quietly waiting.
Mia will slither over to Sarmati, and since you can understand me right now, she's going to say, there are several cameras hanging around here. You said, I believe that they go to the panic room, right, and not to an
Sarmati
exterior
is
security.
in the panic room, and if you say that to him, he will point out the cameras that you were talking about.
Oh, that's interesting. And we could hang out here?
Not really room for all of us in here. And if they're all in here, there's no reason for him to come in here.
Valid.
Anyways, what else you find?
Barbecue sauce
What
in
kind?
buckets everywhere. There's just barbecue sauce. I don't understand. Is this some like meta reference or something that I don't know?
A meta reference. I'll tell you how funny that is offline.
Do you like my layered joke?
So
Yes.
so
Nice.
can you go grab me if one of them stubs, grab me a bottle and then bring it in here for when you chase me in here, so I have something to put on when I eat them.
She will do that. Was one of them stuff?
Yeah, we'll say why not. Yeah, absolutely. It's a varying different brands and things.
Okay, you two just suddenly see Mia as a snake going to one corner and then suddenly coming back with with part of her body wrapped around
Good lord.
barbecue sauce bottle.
As well, of note, as well as the less hidden, something less hidden, is in front of the what looks like 3 just bookshelves on the wall. Is a ring light set up and plugged into the wall. There's no phone or anything like that, but it looks like it's already to a little setup space to live stream or go live on a social media platform and say hello. That has been set up and given in here. Doesn't appear to be part of the handout itself. Seems like it was brought up.
Emergency barbecue sauce in there.
But you guys have arrived. You guys have scoped out the area. Judging off of Cassandra's count, you can see he is on the move. It looks like he is making his way. So less than an hour now, and a change up in his plans. It looks like he seemed to have gotten a phone call and then abandoned without paying for a coffee or something, and is now en route back to the hotel.
This man more and more.
Interesting.
Mia's gonna position herself and Ophi under the pillows of the bed.
Excellent. And what of the other 3?
Caseman here. I'll make sure we get what we need.
I'll be like out of sight from the door. If anyone needs to grapple him to like hold him down, that is not me. That I'm very weak. So I'll just be out of the way.
Yeah. If there's not a mostly concealed vantage point to look at the door, then I'll move furniture around to make one.
Absolutely, you may absolutely move furniture around to make one. It's not too terribly difficult. So I have positioning for 3 of the 4. Sarmati, can you remind me of what you are up to in this moment? Is there anything in particular?
He's setting himself up so that when our soon to be dearly departed friend decides to make a break for the panic room, he's really going to have something to panic about when he gets there.
Excellent. And this is where we'll close today's episode of Scion, Titans Rising Actual Play, part 3. Sweet. Excellent. The exciting conclusion of what happens during this stint. As a reminder, this is just step 1 on your guys' journey. You guys are taking out Matthew, and I believe the next plan was to go to the data center itself, as there is some interesting stuff there, as well as a Scion of King Gazar. So, all that and more coming up next Friday. But for the time being, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you all so much for hanging out. We'll go in reverse order as we did the intros. So if you would kindly, Sarmati, who are you? What do you do? Where can we find you and all that good stuff?
Hello, I am Zachary Nalder, he, him. I can be found on my website. It's zachrules.com. If you need the spelling, there's an at in front of it. That's not on the website. That's only if you go to the Dead Bird site. If you go to the BS site or the Dice Camp, you have to add other stuff to find me on those socials. You can find words that I've written coming Tuesday on the Kickstarter. That will be in the preview of the Birthrights and Antagonists that will be coming out on Tuesday. So you can see the little devilish and not so little devilish bastards that I wrote for folks to encounter. As far as on the Twitches, you can't. I don't Twitch. I don't know why people follow me on Twitch, but they do. I would do occasionally show up on other places like here, and tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I will be on the MS Society stream of Dragon Age. That's a one shot. It's raising money for the MS Society. And then Wednesday, I will be on McStabber Studios. We work studio singular, and we will be continuing our Vampire the Dark Ages game.
What
I'll
time
be
was
back
Dragon
here.
Age thing?
5 o'clock tomorrow.
Excellent.
MS Society.
I'm gonna check that out.
Excellent. Outstanding. And again, thank you so much for being here. Next up is Mia.
Oh, right, that's me.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Azure. You can find me at the AzureButterfly.ttv. And I also do streaming on the Rolling Nomads, as part of the Witcher Ways of Old campaign and on my own Azure's Horror Studio, where I do a lot of horror-based content. Yeah, I'm also on all the social medias at the Azure Butter One, including Blue Sky now, but on Blue Sky it is the Azure Butterfly. I need to work on my branding still.
Excellent. Works out as well. And as well as a new thing, just to shout it out, Azure is also part of our our staff at the Rolling Nomads. She is our creative director officially.
Yay!
Yeah, gotta remember to pump yourself up.
I
No worries, it's new. It's very. It's gonna take some getting used to. Next up, this is going to be Koei. I feel like I've mispronounced that every time. I'm so sorry.
Just smack my microphone around. Hi, I'm Shinobi Kota. I've been Koi. I write and develop RPGs and queer genre fiction, mostly TTRPGs these days. You can find me on Tumblr and Blue Sky. I mean, you can find me other places too, but I'm probably not going to respond in a timely fashion. uh, at Hito Makoto, so right there. And yeah, I think that's that's not everything. I have a Kickstarter to promote. Uh, you should, if you have not already backed Titans Rising, which is the sort of sub game of Scion that we're playing. You should, because it's really cool. Zach wrote stuff for it. I wrote stuff for it. A bunch of cool people wrote stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed it is. I wrote some things for it as well. Very excited to see.
Yes. Sorry.
No, no worries, no worries. Yeah, it's good stuff. And again, of course, thank you for being here. Thank you for playing in this. It's an honor to have you. Next up, if you would kindly, Cassandra.
Hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. I stream at Druid by Night, and you can find me at Druid by Night on TikTok, Twitter, and Blue Sky. And I'm also with the Rolling Nomads as the social media director, and I play in The Witcher. So you should come watch that. And I've been Cassandra.
Excellent. And of course, it has been a blessing to have you here as well. It's been lovely to have all of you here playing in this game. Me, myself, I am found everywhere at Ramos the Nomad on the internet. That's TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, all the good stuff. And also now on Blue Sky. Primarily found over on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads. It's where we do all of our stuff. Yeah, and you should check out Titans Rising. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. As Hiromi said, three of us did right on it. As well as a great team of people and really cool stuff being displayed over there. And if you're if you back the Kickstarter, you get little previews and things, and that's always fun. You know that you need more content. You gotta have more stuff for your games. It's a never ending quest for more. At least that is the way it is for me. So, go check out Titans Rising on Kickstarter. It's currently about $600 away from its next stretch goal, which is a mobile wallpaper. And yeah, it's just like, I'm so very excited for this. I'm so very excited for people to see this. That is us in a handbasket. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. And we are, and in typical me fashion, we had it for one day where we were signing off on time. We're about 3 minutes over. Sorry, Onyx Path. I can change. However, we will see you guys for the exciting conclusion of this actual play series next Friday. Same time, same place, same heroes. We'll see you then.
Question mark.
Question mark.